going on, Matt? What's your thoughts on Mitch Rob now? Wasn't really expecting Nerlens to sit, so him being out does kind of change some things up. And then the Tyler Hero thing is definitely it's just gonna like fuck up this whole slate. Alright guys, yeah, let me go grab a drink real quick. Okay. So yeah, now we actually have something to talk about because I was not expecting us to get any more injury news, but yeah. I can't stand Matthews. Yeah, I feel you, man. Bogdanovich available to play Saturday. Okay. So was Cam Reddish. All right. If Bogdan was going to be out, Cam Reddish would have been a very, very strong play today. But that is not going to be the case. Terrence Ross also active. Mo Bamba available. Okay. You like RJ Barrett or Fournier more? Probably Barrett, but I'm not really on either of those guys. Okay, so we have a decent amount of stuff to go over. So I suppose we should probably just jump right into that. Okay, I got the new injury report up. Okay. All right, we're going to go game by game for a little bit, and then we are going to jump into the news. I got to make a quick update to the Patreon as well with the news of Nerlens Noel being out, but that isn't the game we're talking about right now, so we'll just start with that. So we get the New York Knicks versus the Atlanta Hawks. A 2-8 or currently 215.5 over under. You know, money's been sharp money has been on the under pretty significantly in this game. The Hawks are currently 7-point favorites. We did just get word that Nerlens Noel is going to sit today, so they are going to be without Taj Gibson, Nerlens Noel, Derrick Rose, and Kemba Walker. So they are pretty short-handed right now. Hence the reason why money is coming in pretty strongly on the Atlanta Hawks side. So, you know, I think RJ Barrett, Julius Randle are interesting tournament options, but I'm not really considering them. Not really considering Alec Burks either. I'm really focusing in on Emmanuel Quickley. He should play a very large amount of minutes at the point guard position today. We know Tibbs will run him. They feel very comfortable with him out there. And the fact that the main guys in Derrick Rose and Kemba Walker are out, you know, he should have nobody in his way. Even if the game ends up blowing out, he should be able to do it through 3 quarters. And I do think that there is a pretty good chance that he would be in the blowout lineup anyways. Not that I think this game's going to blow out, but, you know, he is blowout proof in my opinion. We did just get news that Nerlens Noel is joining Taj Gibson on the bench. So Mitchell Robinson should play upwards of like low 30s minutes, like 30, 32 minutes here. You know, they're going to give Julius Randle a good bit of run at the 5 with Obi Toppin, and they line up a bit more. So it is a small bump to a guy like Obi Toppin. But Mitchell Robinson and Emmanuel Quickley, the two guys I'm really focusing on, specifically Emmanuel Quickley. Move over to the Atlanta Hawks. DeAndre Hunter and Onyeka Okongwu are both out. Cam Reddish and Bogdanovich are both active today. You know, I'm not really considering anybody on this team. Clint Capella, more of a secondary option for me. Still love his over here on Prize Picks if you guys have yet to hit that. It is currently at 33 fantasy points. I think that is entirely too low. You know, he scored 60 fantasy points yesterday and did not even touch the court in the fourth quarter. Now he's going to get more of Mitchell Robinson. So I think it's a good matchup for Clint Capella, but for DraftKings' sake, I'm not really interested in anybody here. Trae Young on FanDuel is very, very appealing. He's in the mid 8Ks. Move over to the Phoenix Suns versus the Brooklyn Nets. If I can find the correct tab. We get a 224.5 over under. The Nets are currently 2-point favorites. One of the best game environments on the entire slate. You know, both these teams have been pretty poor on defense so far this year. Specifically the Suns, you know, since the second half of last season, they have been pretty poor defensively. So this is a game to target. This game should be competitive. Both these teams like to blow out others, and so they almost never get their full complement of minutes. But this is a game where I think you can see a lot of those guys get the higher end of their minutes range. So guys like Devin Booker, Chris Paul are fine. Mikal Bridges at 5,200, you know, he should play. He played 39 minutes last game in a blowout. I think that he plays like 36, 38 minutes or more in this game. He's going to be chasing around Kevin Durant and James Harden. So the fact that he's going to be out there so long, he's not the best per minute producer, but his fantasy score over here is only 21 fantasy points. And with him being on ball, an on-ball defender, you know, the steals and blocks are going to be there for him. And so you get 3 full fantasy points over here on Prize Picks for those. So, you know, 21 fantasy points seems really, really low to me, considering he's probably going to play mid to high 30s minutes here. I like pairing him with Clint Capella. Keep watching this, and I'll be sure to give away a couple more plays because they still have not updated the Washington guys. No clue why they have not done that yet. But we go to the Brooklyn Nets side. They are going to be without Kyrie Irving, Joe Harris, Nicholas Claxton, Edmund Sumner. I mean, obviously he's out for the year. So they are somewhat short-handed. We saw that LaMarcus Aldridge started last game, played 29 minutes in a blowout. He would have played more. He played 34 minutes the game before. So if we're going to start seeing him in the starting lineup and him playing low to mid 30s minutes, you know, $5,600 is way too cheap for him. He looks very rejuvenated after, you know, retiring last year and then coming back. He's really eating into Blake Griffin's minutes now. They're not even giving Blake Griffin any minutes right now. I mean, he played a stint in the first half last game, but then didn't come back in. I mean, I could pull it up right now. So last game, LaMarcus Aldridge started. You know, if I can find, Blake Griffin didn't even play that game. And then the game before, Blake Griffin ended up playing 2 stints, started the game, played another stint. Then they're like, screw this. We're going to start LaMarcus Aldridge the second half. And they have been playing much, much better with LaMarcus Aldridge at the 5. So I absolutely love him at $5,600. Love him on FanDuel as well. Even though he's in the 6Ks, I still think that he is more than viable. And then James Harden and Kevin Durant, I think, are 2 of the best spend-up options on the entire slate. I slightly prefer Kevin Durant over here because he is $600 cheaper. Over on DraftKings or on FanDuel, Harden is the cheaper one, so that's the guy I'm gravitating towards more. Pretty much the cheaper guy on both on either side is the guy I'm going to be going with. I wouldn't play them together. I think it kind of caps your upside. Move over to the Miami Heat versus the Chicago Bulls. We have a 210.5 over under. Should be a pretty slow paced game, defensive game. The Heat are 1.5 point favorites. The Miami Heat are going to be without Victor Oladipo and Markieff Morris, Marcus Garrett as well. And then we did just see that I just got an alert for it. Tyler Hero popped up just shortly ago that he is questionable. Now he's a game time decision due to soreness. So I have a good feeling that Tyler Hero is actually going to sit here. Not a very good matchup, but it is a bump to these other Miami Heat guys. So if you guys want to get some value, a guy like Kyle Lowry or Jimmy Butler, the overs look a lot more interesting with the prospects of Tyler Hero potentially sitting here. But on DraftKings, I'm not really considering anybody here. Even if he ends up sitting, you know, they're more of secondary options. And the guys that are going to come off the bench in replacement of Tyler Hero is just, it's running very, very thin. I'm not really considering anybody on the Miami Heat team, even if Tyler Hero were to be ruled out, given how tough the matchup is against the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls are going to be without Patrick Williams, and everybody in the Bulls are priced up as if somebody is out because they have been dealing with a Nikola Vucevic injury, and Vucevic was on pace to play 34 minutes last game. So before the game ended up blowing out. So the minutes limit is off of Nikola Vucevic now. And, Javonte Green starting now. Alex Caruso coming off the bench again. Kobe White, interesting tournament option. But, again, a very tough matchup against the Miami Heat. Not considering anybody in that game. For the most part, move over to the Orlando Magic versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. We have a 205.5 over under. The Cavaliers are currently 10-point favorites, so pretty lofty favorites for the for the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Orlando Magic are going to be without Cole Anthony, Markelle Fultz, Michael Carter-Williams, and Ejuan Moore and Jonathan Isaac. Obviously, Terrence Ross and Mo Bamba are officially active right now. I think Wendell Carter Jr. is a great play at $5,800. I know I'm going to get this question a lot. Him versus LaMarcus Aldridge, very, very close. You could definitely play both of them, especially since Wendell Carter has power forward eligibility. And not just center eligibility like LaMarcus Aldridge. Very, very close to me. I probably lean LaMarcus Aldridge as of now. I mean, it's really tough. Over on FanDuel, I prefer Wendell Carter Jr. just because the scoring fits him a bit better. Over here on Draftkings, I think I slightly prefer LaMarcus Aldridge. And then Jalen Suggs, more of a tournament option if this game can stay competitive. Which, it could. Their offense is pretty bad without Cole Anthony out there facilitating the offense. Jalen Suggs just really isn't there yet. It's quite to the level of Cole Anthony, and we saw Suggs kind of get his minutes eaten into by others. He didn't close the first half, which was pretty worrisome for him. But the usage and assist percentage should be there. The opportunities should be there for him, given that there is no Cole Anthony. More of a tournament option for me for Jalen Suggs. Wendell Carter Jr., you can play him in cash or GPP. The Cleveland Cavaliers are going to be without Colin Sexton. And it looks like they are going to be healthy for the most part. Evan Mobley is returning here. And everybody is priced up because they have been dealing with so many injuries. But now it looks like everybody should be healthy outside of Colin Sexton. So I'm not really considering anybody here. I guess Larry Markkinen is a pretty good play in his own right. Should play, low to mid 30s minutes here. Good matchup against the Orlando Magic. $5,600. More of a secondary option. Pivot off of guys like LaMarcus Aldridge, Kevin Porter Jr., and Wendell Carter Jr. In that same price range, but not really considering anybody from the Cleveland side or in that game as a whole outside of Wendell Carter Jr. Move over to the Charlotte Hornets versus the Houston Rockets, my favorite game of the entire night. We have a 227 over under. The Hornets are currently 5.5-point favorites. They are in the second leg of a back-to-back. The Rockets are pretty well rested right now. We get the first and second fastest teams in the entire league in the same exact game, so I think this game plays relatively close. And should be super, super fast paced. I love LaMelo Ball at $10,400. I love him over on FanDuel. He's only $9,500. Yeah, I think that people are going to be scared off of playing him, and his production has been down the last two games because he got benched in this game because he was trying to do some crazy in-game dunk and ended up getting himself benched. And then in this game, the game blew out, so he didn't play in the fourth quarter. But he was well on his way to probably a 50-point performance. So you look at the games before, 62, 51, 60. I think these are the outcomes that you could definitely see in this game. I think he should be able to pick apart this Houston Rockets defense, who is just absolutely terrible. So I love LaMelo Ball today. Miles Bridges, more of a secondary option at $7.9K. Mason Plumlee is going to be out. So we saw PJ Washington play last game. He ended up playing 24 minutes. The game ended up blowing out, and they were closing out the halves with him. He is an undersized center, so when they go small, when they were going small when Mason Plumlee was active, PJ Washington was not active, and so they would end up playing Miles Bridges at the 5. I think their way of playing small right now is playing PJ at the 5. So, Washington probably ends up playing, 26, 28 minutes here. Gets a great matchup against the Houston Rockets and is only $4,400 and has forward and center eligibility. I think PJ Washington is one of the strongest value plays on the entire slate. But really just focusing in on PJ Washington and LaMelo Ball, I think Kelly Oubre has a good chance of playing, mid to high 20s minutes here. Was shooting lights out last game. Not necessarily expecting that, but the volume should be there while he is out there. I believe he shot 17 times last game. Move over to the Houston Rockets. John Wall, Jalen Green are both out. Interesting enough, John Wall should be returning to playing sometime soon. He's having a meeting with the with the owners and coaching staff tomorrow. So we might start seeing John Wall playing in these games for the Houston Rockets moving forward. But at least for today's slate, he is going to be out. So without Jalen Green, without John Wall, Christian Wood, Kevin Porter Jr., two of my favorite plays on the slate, making sure to get in these guys into my lineups, specifically Kevin Porter Jr. They should play big minutes, assuming this game does stay competitive like Vegas indicates. Jayshawn Tate, a very good play at 4,600. Kind of worrisome that his minutes have been getting eaten into by guys like Daniel House recently, but without Jalen Green for the entirety of the game, I would expect him to play, around 30 minutes. At $4,600, you could definitely do a lot worse. And then Garrison Matthews, if we go back to last game, actually, I'll pull it up for you guys. Jalen Green was injured in the first quarter. I'm typing in Jalen Green instead of the Rockets. It was a competitive game. Jalen Green played just the first quarter, and then we saw Garrison Matthews end up closing out this half. He started the second half and played 27.5 minutes. He was on pace to play over 30 minutes if you extrapolate the second half. I'm assuming he gets the start here, since Jalen Green is out. He's one of the better value plays at $3,400. He's $3,900 over on FanDuel. I think he's fine. He's going to be very, very chalky today, so he could easily bust for how chalky he is. So in tournaments, I'm okay with fading him, but in cash games, I think you probably go ahead and play him since he does have guard and forward eligibility. Move over to the Washington Wizards versus the Dallas Mavericks. Spencer Dinwiddie and Thomas Bryant are both going to be out. Let's look at the over-under right now. 213 over-under. The Mavericks are currently 7-point favorites. Some money is coming in on the Washington Wizards. This is the second leg of a back-to-back, like I mentioned. So Spencer Dinwiddie is out in this game, which gives you a pretty significant boost to a guy like Bradley Beal. You go over here to add more funds, take Spencer Dinwiddie off the court. Bradley Beal has a 32.1% usage rating without Spencer Dinwiddie on the court, an assist percentage of 32.2%, which is very good. He's been pretty inefficient in his time, averaging just 1.19 fantasy points per minute, but he should play big minutes here and should have a ton of opportunities against a pretty middling, at best defense in the Dallas Mavericks. So I love Bradley Beal today at $9,100. I love Kyle Kuzma at $6,100. He gets a pretty significant boost here as well. He should play mid 30s minutes, so 34 to 36 minutes is definitely in the realm of possibilities for Kyle Kuzma. He averages over about 1.05 fantasy points per minute with Spencer Dinwiddie off the court. So I think he is in a very good spot as well. And then Daniel Gafford actually last game ended up playing more minutes than Montrezl Harrell, played 26.5 minutes. He had 8 blocks, which is just like unrealistic. He had 9 total stocks. I would not expect those kind of numbers, but he can grab 2 or 3 in these games, especially against the Dallas Mavericks. If he continues to start, he's going to continue to start, and he could very easily continue to surpass Montrezl Harrell in minutes. We saw before his injury that he was starting to take over most of the minutes at the center spot, and then he got injured, and then Montrezl started going off, but it looks like it's flipping back in the favor of Daniel Gafford. They are running a true hot hand approach, so if Gafford's playing well, he's going to get the minutes. Interesting tournament play at $4,100. And over here on PrizePicks, actually, they still have Spencer Dinwiddie in here. Last time I checked, which was just a couple of seconds ago. So yeah, they have Kyle Kuzma at 26.5 fantasy points. Oh, they ended up taking off Spencer Dinwiddie, I believe. Yeah, they did. They finally fixed it. But I think the over 26.5 fantasy points for Kyle Kuzma without Spencer Dinwiddie is damn near a lock. We go back to the last game that he was ruled out against the Miami Heat, and that was a tough matchup against the Heat, and Kuzma went off in that game. We saw Aaron Holiday start in his place. He's only $3,200. If you want a lower owned pivot off of a very popular Garrison Matthews, you can go to Aaron Holiday. He should pick up the start. He played 30 minutes last game. That Spencer Dinwiddie missed. Played 24 minutes the game before that Spencer Dinwiddie did miss, but he's not the best permanent producer by any means. But if you want a pivot off of a very, very popular Garrison Matthews today, Aaron Holiday is probably your guy. You can play Aaron Holiday and Garrison Matthews together if you're really trying to get a top-loaded kind of lineup, which I think in tournaments is a pretty sharp route to go. Move over to the Dallas Mavericks. Frank Ntilikina is out, and I believe Jalen Brunson is still questionable. Haven't really seen anything on it. If I could find the Dallas Mavericks on here. Yeah, he is still questionable with that ankle injury, I believe, or a left foot injury. So if he were to miss this game, I would expect Maxi Kleber to actually close these halves out and play a pretty decent amount of minutes. He is an interesting tournament play if Jalen Brunson is ruled out, but since there is more value opening up with Jalen Brunson officially ruled out right on time. So, yeah, I think Maxi Kleber is an interesting tournament play off the bench. And this is actually a pretty big boost to guys like Luka Doncic, where most of the time that Jalen Brunson is playing, it's next to Luka Doncic closing out these games. So, without him out there to dictate the offense, the ball is going to be in Luka Doncic's hands even more so. So, I love Luka now. I definitely prefer him to the Brooklyn Nets guys with no Jalen Brunson. So, yeah, I would try to get to some Luka in your lineups over on DraftKings. And actually, what is that at right now? Luka's over under on here. 47 fantasy points. I mean, the over looks very, very enticing right now. 47 fantasy points. Like that quite a bit for Luka. Move over to the New Orleans Pelicans versus the Utah Jazz. We have a 213.5 over under. The Jazz are now 13-point favorites, so some pretty severe blowout risk in this game. The New Orleans Pelicans are going to be without Zion Williamson, Dalton Holmes, and yeah, I'm not really considering anybody here. I guess this matchup suits Brandon Ingram the best out of everybody on this Pelicans team, but I'm not really considering them in my lineup. You know, they have dropped the price down pretty significantly on Donovan Mitchell. He's now only 8,100, you know, nearly a 35% usage rating so far this year. Great matchup against the Pelicans, a pace-up spot. You know, the Pelicans are a bottom 3 defense. We saw this game just yesterday, and it played within 1 point. So just because Vegas is indicating this game is going to blow, it doesn't mean it is. So in tournaments, I wouldn't touch it in cash games, but in tournaments, I think Donovan Mitchell is one of the strongest plays on the entire slate on FanDuel and DraftKings. But the blowout risk is pretty severe. The Utah Jazz at home are no joke. All right, guys, we have 36 minutes to go over some questions. I got to update the Mitchell Robinson thing over on Patreon. Because I think he is now a pretty interesting play over on DraftKings. He's like 5,100 over on FanDuel, so doesn't really pique my interest all too much. But on DraftKings, 4,100 for Mitchell Robinson looks way, way better. Under Harrell, yeah, the Under Harrell looks pretty nice. Quickly to the bag tonight. Yeah, let's get him, man. I'm excited about Emmanuel Quickly tonight. PJ, Tate, Wagner, or Herter. Man, I probably lean Tate there. You like Spider Mitchell on FanDuel? Yeah, I mean, Mitchell is what, 7,900 over here. It's just like an absurd price tag. He's $7,900 over on FanDuel. Like, that's a crazy price tag. And you know, he can get it done in 3 quarters if the game really does blow out. PJ versus Oubre is tough. Yeah, I will say that I really do think that they continue to close these games out with PJ Washington, which means that Kelly Oubre probably not in the closing lineup. So I think I trust PJ a bit more. It was promising looking at the game script last time for the Hornets. I'll bring it up right here. Because they were bringing him back in and actively closing these halves out, and he would have closed tier 2 if the game was more competitive. So, yeah, I think the minutes are probably going to be in the favor of PJ Washington in a competitive game. Yeah, I like him quite a bit. Okay, Burks or Bridges on FanDuel. I'm probably gonna go with Bridges there. Favorite price picks plays 2 or 3 stack. So yeah, my favorite price picks plays as of right now is currently Clint Capella over 33 fantasy points. Willie Cauley-Stein will remain in the starting lineup. So he's going to start. Don't let that scare you off of anybody. He did not even close out the game. He barely played the game that he started. Actually, let me bring it up real quick, and then I'll bring up price picks real quick. So yeah, Willie Cauley-Stein ended up starting this last game. Oh, can I not bring it up? That's sad. Okay, well, he ended up starting, but he barely played in that game, and we saw a ton of Maxi Kleber. I think that we likely see a similar situation today with Maxi Kleber with no Jalen Brunson. Any Sengun love? Yeah, no, not really. Kuzma or Carter Jr. going to be Kuzma for me. Who do you like more, Mitchell or Gafford? I like Mitchell more. Aldridge love. Yeah, I love LaMarcus Aldridge today. I think that people are scared off that price tag, and I am just not. I think he's a very, very strong play today. Could Carter Jr. go off again tonight, or was that some fluke? No, I mean, without Cole Anthony, the offense kind of runs through him, so a lot more than usual. So normally when you take out a facilitator like Cole Anthony and you bring in these worse backups to replace him, the offense as a whole just takes a hit because they don't have a good facilitator out there, but they kind of just like funnel everything through Wendell Carter Jr. right now. So he's a very, very strong play in my opinion. I don't think it was really a fluke. What site is AMF? It's addmorefunds.com. Addmorefunds.com. Very good site to look at the game logs, and they have NBA Wowie on there, which is an awesome tool. PJ was only going to play like 25 or 26 last game. Did I miss something? PJ played. Yeah, he would have played about 26 minutes, which was, I spoke wrong when I was talking about that, which would have ended up being like a minute or two less than Kelly Oubre. I just think that PJ Washington has the better matchup right here against the front court. That's probably the weak point of the Houston Rockets defense right now. Feels like Washington is reaching on this slate with all the absurd value everywhere. I don't think there's really that much absurd value. IQ, Holiday, Kuz, PJ, Mitch, LaMelo, Wendell Carter, Luka. Love it, man. Love it. Best Knicks options: Emmanuel Quickly and Mitchell Robinson, which reminds me, need to make that update on Patreon. LaMelo, Mark Ayton, or Luka Suggs. Mitch Rob for DK GPP. I'm going to take the Luka side, 3,700 utility. Yeah, probably Garrison Matthews, and then if not Garrison Matthews, well, it depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for a tournament play, I mean, it's probably Maxi Kleber there, and he's going to be virtually unowned. Thoughts on Cody Martin in Charlotte Houston game stack? Yeah, I think he's fine. I mean, no Mason Plumlee leads them to likely playing a bit more small ball when PJ Washington's not on the court, which is going to lead to more minutes for Cody Martin. So Cody Martin definitely in play, but not really getting there. I definitely prefer Kelly Oubre at a similar price tag. Aldridge or Kevin Porter Jr.? Man. It's got to be Kevin Porter Jr., but dude, it is very, very close. Who's going to win, Heat or Bulls? I think the Heat win that game. Butler has a revenge game against everyone. That's for sure. That dude was getting tossed around. PJ can get extended more if Jalen McDaniels doesn't play so well like last game. Yep. Yeah, the first half was kind of brutal for him. Thoughts on Vooch on last piece in cash? I don't mind him. I mean, like I said, he was on pace to play 34 minutes if that game didn't blow out last time. So there's obviously no minutes restriction there. He's priced appropriately. I think he's fine here. Obviously not a very good matchup, though. Other than Luka and Porzingis, who is the biggest beneficiary of Brunson being ruled out? It is Maxi Kleber. I think that he likely closes out this game instead of Jalen Brunson, like we saw last game. Who's a pay-up option in cash? I mean, it's probably Luka now with no Brunson. And I think Luka's going to go unowned today. Best cheap small forward. Probably Garrison Matthews. Top pay-up options, Luka, LaMelo, Harden, Durant. Luka's probably my favorite pay-up option now that Jalen Brunson's out. Point per dollar wise, Bradley Beal at 9.1K. Check DMT. You probably got something you like as well, I assume. Let me take a look, man. Yeah, man. And dude, nobody's gonna play LaMelo today. Everybody's gonna play all these Rockets guys, and just nobody's bringing it back with LaMelo, which is pretty funny to me. I'm excited to see the ownership on LaMelo Ball today. Aldridge or Wood? Also, any love for Randall tonight? No love for Randall tonight. Man, I mean, I prefer Wood, but I mean, both of them are such great players. PJ or Wagner? I'm going to take PJ there. Thoughts on Suggs? Yeah, I mean, the opportunities will be there for Suggs, but he has a very, very short leash. They will bench him even with no Cole Anthony, but the opportunities will be there for him. Game could get out of hand. You know, money is coming in pretty heavily on the Cleveland Cavaliers side now that they are healthy, and the Orlando Magic are kind of decimated with injuries currently. So Suggs more of a tournament option, but I do think that he has immense upside. Porter, Ball. Okay, same starting lineup for the Wizards. Porter, Ball, Hayward, or I'm assuming that's Hayward, Carter, Wood, Quickly, Washington, Aldridge, DK. Like that, man. Yeah, they dropped Gordon Hayward's price quite a bit. Obviously, a great matchup against the Rockets. PJ or Wagner going to be PJ. Can you rank Beal, Doncic, and LaMelo for GPP? For GPP, it's probably LaMelo, Doncic, then Beal. Oubre and PJ or Suggs and Brown. I'm assuming that's Bruce Brown. I wonder if we see a minutes limit or a minutes cap for Bruce Brown. I haven't heard anything, but he has missed the last couple of games. So I'd probably go with Oubre and PJ there. D-Book or Beal last piece. Definitely Bradley Beal for me. Merch. Yeah, Jeff, I saw you commented that earlier. I was going to reply to you about that. I was thinking about making some hats. I think that would make the most sense since I do wear hats so often. Probably be the easiest too. Beal or Butler. Going to be Beal for me. 5.4K under small forward on FanDuel. Let's take a look. Because Jayshawn Tate is quite a bit less than that. See if we like a guy. I mean, probably Mikal Bridges at 5,200. I think he's going to play an absolute ton today. Thoughts on KCP? No, not on KCP today. I mean, literally everybody could be out for the Wizards, and I still would never consider that. Alec Burks actually starting for Kemba Walker over Emmanuel Quickly. Okay, so just to answer your question, it's probably going to be Alec Burks at 4,900. Wow, okay. So this actually does change quite a bit. I'm going to have to make a change, likely to the lineup because, Quickly I think is still a very good play, but I think Alec Burks is nearly must play. Let me think for a second. I mean, he could literally lead this team in usage today. Let's look at what the usages last game were. What was up with this? Alec Burks 11.2% usage rating. Odd. I mean, he's going to be running the point now too. I mean, Quickly's still a really good play. So if he's in your lineup, I wouldn't get off of him because of that. But it makes me a lot more interested in Alec Burks than I originally was. Patty Mills love. Yeah, I mean, Patty Mills is very, very shooting reliant, especially with the three ball. I mean, look at Patty Mills. Like, if he doesn't have an elite shooting game like he has been recently, he's priced up to 5,000 now, and he could easily bust. I mean, look at his three-point percentages the last couple games. 70%, 56, 50, 50, 40%, 75%. Yeah, I mean, he needs to hit his shots, but, it is Patty Mills. He's like a very good three-point shooter. Do you like Porzingis? I'm not really on Porzingis today, but I will say that Porzingis has been a much better player this year than last year. Like, way, way better. Burks over Quickly now in cash. If you have the money, yeah, probably. If Orlando versus Cleveland stays close, is Garland solid play at point guard for FanDuel? Yeah, he's like 6,900 over there. Yeah, it's pretty good price tag. Yeah, I mean, I think Garland's fine on FanDuel. I wouldn't touch him on Draftkings. So Wood or LMA. Yeah, if you just have to choose one, it's probably Wood for me. But I mean, I love both. You like Booker on Prize Picks? What is it at right now? It's probably sitting somewhere in the mid 30s, which is a pretty enticing price for him. If I can find it. 36. Yeah, I mean, I would just that's probably not the guy I'm targeting. I mean, he could easily hit this for sure, but a lot of times in these closer games, Chris Paul kind of just takes over and runs the offense. I would almost rather take Chris Paul over 35. I would actually rather just take Mikal Bridges over 21 fantasy points. Seems pretty easy for him to get there. Knicks starters cannibalize each other's ceilings, so I'll stay on Quickly. I think the second team will be this show to run. Yeah, and there's a very good chance that Quickly closes these halves anyways. really not much of a concern for me. So yeah, they're starting Alec Burks, Evan Fournier, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson. Kobe White heating up. Yeah, I mean, Kobe White had a 25% usage rating last game coming off the bench. In the previous games, he had like single-digit usage. So if he's going to start shooting more now, $3,800, he is a pretty interesting tournament option. Is Bruce Brown in play? You know, if he's starting, I think he's fine. He's not starting. So, no, he's coming off the bench. He's missed the last couple of games. I'm not on Bruce Brown, no. He could possibly be on a minutes limit, even though we have received no word on that. Him coming off the bench is pretty telling because he was one of their mainstay starters before he ended up getting injured. Favorite plays on the slate? Yeah, I mean, Kevin Porter Jr., LaMarcus Aldridge, Christian Wood, Wendell Carter Jr. You mind Fournier? I'm not really on Fournier. I mean, dude, Fournier was shooting lights out in that first quarter and still barely broke 30 fantasy points. I mean, like, this dude just, he stinks, man. Or was it this game? Nah, it was the game before. Thoughts on Burks and quickly in the same lineup? I think it's fine because, you know, a lot of these times Evan Fournier hasn't even been closing, and they've been closing with Burks. So Quickly could end up closing over Fournier. Then they have Quickly and Burks out there on the same time. So I think it's definitely fine for that to happen. I mean, we can look at this last game, for example. Like, Evan Fournier didn't even come in. I guess the game ended up blowing out. But the games before, you know, Evan Fournier really just not getting much fourth quarter run at all. No changes to FanDuel, not as of right now, but I am looking at it. Need a sub 4K guy, not Matthews or Kleber, trying to finish off stacking LaMelo, Beal, and Luka. It is going to be Aaron Holiday, Nathan. He should be starting in replacement of... Yeah, he is starting. So he's starting over Spencer Dinwiddie since it is his rest day, since it is a second leg of a back-to-back. This music's probably copyrighted. Okay, let me make a change real quick, guys. I'll answer some questions as while we're doing this. Holiday or Garrison Matthews? Probably Garrison Matthews. So let's get it. I got for GBP, Luka, Aaron Holiday, Melo, Okoro, Carter Jr., Bruce Brown, Wood, LMA. Man, I'd probably get off of Bruce Brown and Okoro, but I like the rest of that lineup. Luka Doncic, Beal, Mikal Bridges, PJ Washington, Marcus Aldridge, Alec Burks, Wendell Carter Jr., Garrison Matthews. Thoughts? I think it's fine. Doncic and Oubre or Melo and Suggs. Doncic, Oubre, Melo and Suggs. I'd probably take Doncic and Oubre. Okay, let me make an update real quick. Can you stack 4 plays? Yeah, it is. What is it? A 7-game slate. I think that's fine. Assuming that you're talking about the Rockets, because, yeah, I mean, without Jalen Green, and they are inexpensive, and given how tight the game should be, and just the game environment as a whole, I think it's fine to play 4 Rockets. Do you like Ayton on Prize Picks? Yeah, I like Ayton more than Devin Booker over there. Ball, Washington, Rozier, and McDaniels. Oh, you're playing all the Hornets. Yeah, I think that's fine. But make sure to bring it back with some Rockets. You high on Kuzma tonight? Yeah, I'm pretty damn high on Kyle Kuzma without Spencer Dinwiddie. He's a significantly better play just because, I mean, Aaron Holiday just like doesn't handle the ball. He just sits there in the corner, which is quite literally the opposite of what Spencer Dinwiddie does. So you replace Spencer Dinwiddie with Aaron Holiday, you know, Kyle Kuzma becomes a much better play. 8,100 utility, torn between Mitchell and Paul. Yeah, I'd probably go with Paul there. Yeah, I'd probably go with Paul. There is some pretty serious blowout risk with Mitchell and the Jazz. Luka, Holiday, Ball, Okoro, Herbert. Matthews, Wood, Beal. I get off Okoro and Herbert there. But I like the rest. Okay, so I did just post an update on Patreon. Nothing too major. You know, Quickly still a fine play, but not a guy that you need to be jamming in your lineups like we originally thought. If you had him in your lineups, I think that is A-okay. Do like Alec Burks quite a bit more now, because I know how Thibodeau works, and Thibodeau could easily just run him out there for a good bit of time. Update the FanDuel lineup as well. Ball, Burks, Oubre, Carter Jr., Capella, Porter Jr., Kleber, Wood. I like that a lot, Gomes. 3,800 DK utility, last one in. Let's go with, let's take a chance on Maxey tonight. Maxey Kleber. I think he's going to be like less than 1% owned. Ayton or Wood. If I have the money, I'd probably go to Ayton. Actually, scratch that. I want Wood there. Got Matthews as my under 4K util stamp. Yeah, I mean, like, I definitely prefer Matthews to Maxey Kleber if you don't already have Matthews in. I have $800 left on the table. That dumb? Nope. I think that is 100% fine. Definitely think that's fine today. Is it wild to play Burks over Kuz straight up and leave salary? I mean, it really is not that crazy. Like, from a pure projection standpoint, they're about the same. So it just looks weird leaving that much money. It's just like, couldn't you find better use with that money to upgrade something else? Or I know what lineup you have, so like it's hard to get off any of the guys. But yeah. Good thing we had leftover money on FanDuel anyways. That makes this pivot pretty damn easy. Royce O'Neal ruled out. Cool. Okay, that actually kind of works out. So yeah, with Royce O'Neal ruled out, we'll probably see Joe Ingles grab the start now, and then Rudy Gay will probably get extended run off the bench. So definitely a bump to those guys. But again, I mean, it's just like a really tough game because the blowout risk is pretty severe there. Play Quickly with Burks. I think playing Quickly and Burks together is definitely fine. So the Cavs will start Garland, Okoro, Markkanen, Mobley, and Allen. Mobley back into the starting lineup in his first game back. Ricky Rubio continues to come off the bench. Kuz or Carter. Probably lean Kuz there. Okay, almost have this up now. Luca, Holiday, Ball, Hayward, Kuz, Matthews, LMA, KPJ. Love that, Dylan. Love that lineup. Pretty damn strong, in my opinion. When did we get this news? A while ago. Favorite forward for 4,200 or under. Let me take a look for you. 4,200. Yeah, it's probably Cody Martin here. Yeah. Actually, scratch that. It's Joe Ingles now that Royce O'Neal is out. Is Burks a must on DK? I don't think he's a must. He's a very strong play, though. Very, very strong play. Garrison even a good play today, and why? Yeah, Jalen Green's out. He started the second half last game, and if you extrapolate the second half minutes he received, he would have played over 30 minutes. Who takes Royce's minutes? It's going to be Joe Ingles and Rudy Gay for the most part. Do you like Doncic and LaMelo Ball in the same lineup? Yeah, 100%. Those are probably like my two favorite spin-ups on the entire slate. Is there a $3,000 player? Not that I've seen. So Ingles over Matthews. If you have the money for Joe Ingles, yeah. Aldridge and Cody Martin or Ingles and Carter Jr. I'm going to take the Ingles side there. Luka and Kobe White or Beal and Wendell Carter Jr. I'd probably take the Beal side there. It's really hard to trust Kobe White. Although, you know, he is on the upward trajectory right now. Oh, wow. Mo Bamba ruled out? Damn. So, yeah, I mean, Wendell Carter Jr. just, like, became an even better play than he already was. So, yeah, I mean, I probably want... And I would actually probably prefer Wendell to Robin Lopez starting. Holy shit. This dude has not even been in the rotation, hardly. So yeah, I mean, if you guys are looking for a minimum price guy, Robin Lopez is definitely in play. Rolo starting is just absolute. That's gold, man. That's funny. Lopez lock. Yeah, I mean, Lopez is in play. He's viable for sure. That's just funny seeing him start. Lopez gonna clog up the paint 100%. Kuz, PJ, LMA, or Burks, Rolo, and Bridges.
You know what happiness is? Happiness is the smell of a new car.
Probably the Kuz side.
It's a
I'm just not on Bridges all that much.
It screams reassurance. Whatever you're doing, it's okay. You are okay.
Okay, hold up, guys. Okay. The Patreon stuff should be updated now. A couple changes. Okay. You good with Trey, Luca over LaMelo, Harden in the FanDuel? I am. But I just made an update to the FanDuel if you want to check that out. I mean, Rolo's a pretty decent fantasy producer, so I could actually see him doing pretty well here. It's just unfortunate that he comes at a center position that is pretty damn stacked tonight. Rolo def starting. Yep, Rolo is starting in replacement of Mo Bamba. They like playing big. They need to match the size of the Cleveland Cavaliers. So I think him being in the starting lineup is just very telling that he's probably going to play a decent amount of minutes tonight. And, you know, he's been a pretty good per minute producer over the course of his career. Rozier or Hayward, better play on FanDuel. I prefer Rozier there. Final GPP line: Luka, Holiday, Beal, Matthews, Carter Jr., Kleber, Wood, Jared Allen. Don't mind that. Luka, Markkanen, or Beal and Bridges, DK Cash. Let's go with the Beal side there. PJ over Kleber, right? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you have the money for PJ over Kleber, definitely prefer PJ there. Assuming you're talking about PJ Washington. Almost locked. Best of luck tonight. Yeah, if you guys are in here, enjoy this kind of content. Would really appreciate it if you guys could drop a like. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. I have like 1 month to hit my goal of 100 subscribers. So if you guys could go ahead and do that, that'd be greatly, greatly appreciated. PJ over Tate. I think I prefer Tate slightly. Who's in LMA or Ayton and Burks? Who's in LMA? Markkanen or Suggs, DK, Cash? Yeah, now there's no Mo Bamba either. Probably take Suggs now. Yeah. I mean, the offense is really just... they could really struggle today. I mean, the Magic as a whole, but, you know, Jalen Suggs and Wendell Carter Jr., what offense they will have is going to run solely between those two guys. Trey Beal over Harden, Booker, reasonable for FanDuel. Just feel like Booker and piss me off today. Yeah, I think that's fine. 100% think that's fine. It's just like Booker's price on FanDuel is ridiculous. 7,700 is wild. Any love for campaign? No, but I did see that his minutes are on the rise right now. So, you know, secondary play, not really considering him. He has been playing very well recently, though. Quickly or Ingles? I like Quickly more. PJ and Luka or Kuz and Beal? PJ and Luka. Porter Jr., LaMelo, Burks, Kuzma, Carter Jr., Wood, Ingles, Aldridge. Love it, man. Yeah, they see Chris. I love that lineup. Very, very good lineup. Yeah, that's probably like my ideal optimal lineup tonight on Draftkings. Quickly or Ingles? Going to be Quickly for me. I still think Quickly is a very good play. I think, you know, Thibodeau wants to bring some offense off the bench. And Quickly brings that. And he's probably going to be in the closing lineup as well. I think I'm staying after all of this. Yeah. Yep, I'm staying on DraftKings as well. Do you like Capella? Yeah, I like Capella. Not so much on DraftKings or anything. I'm really focusing on Capella over on FanDuel or over on PrizePicks. Yeah, this over LaMarcus Aldridge looks nice too. Actually, his points, real points, looks really nice for Aldridge. What's it sitting at right now? 14.5. I feel like it was lower earlier. He's been hitting this anyways, despite coming off the bench. Now he's starting and playing like 10, 12 more minutes than he was playing. He's going to be active. This game should be close, and the Suns defense just not nearly as good as they have been. Yep, Mike Conley is playing. I forgot to mention that earlier. That was somewhat in question because he really doesn't play back-to-backs. And this is the second leg of a back-to-back, but he is active today, so. Jordan Clarkson or Emmanuel Quickly. I probably still lean Quickly there. DK single entry GPP, IQ, Suggs, Miles Bridges, Kleber, Wood, Luka, Carter, Mitch Rob. Love it, man. Let's get that money. Smash that like button before y'all leave. Yeah, for sure, guys. It is lock time, though. Burks or Porter? I like Burks more. Or, sorry, I like Porter more. Sorry. I guess it's lock time anyways. So, I mean, both those guys project pretty similarly for me. All right, guys. It is lock time. Appreciate you guys being here. I will be back tomorrow. We have In-Game Showdown. In-Game Showdown does start a bit earlier tonight, guys. So, if you guys are part of that group, it starts at 8 p.m. Central Time. So, you know, what game is that? It's a Jazz game. Potential blowout in the in-game. We haven't really seen very many of those so far this year in the in-game. So, going to take advantage of that over on DraftKings Prize.